Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Spiritual View. And I am Dawn, and I am joined here today by Nat with Astrology and Wendy. Wendy, I don't remember your handle. Or it's
It's just Wendy.
it's
With
Wendy.
the spiritual view.
With the Okay, everybody out there, we were discussing before we got on just how crazy it's been. I have been just a blithering idiot for 2 weeks. A lot of this energy in Pisces is trine my sun, and my Mercury is at 12, but it's also my Uranus is in square. It's getting squared. So there's been a lot of weird energy going on for me, and it's like, um, as Nat says, it's we surf timelines when we're out there. So uh, I've been surfing the timelines, so I don't remember what you don't remember from one timeline to the next. Because Nat's like, if you can't remember what somebody said, you were probably on a different timeline. When they said it.
So you are learning to surf.
I'm learning to surf. I'm learning to surf, and I'm like, that works for me. I can, and I have a great memory normally. I have Mercury in Cancer, which is a really good memory, and I couldn't remember anything. Oh, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello. So, welcome to everyone here. I do want to go over things that you may need. I basically the materials, I pretty much, I kind of have you covered. The only thing I really want you to have for sure is a piece of paper and something to write with, because we can go through this burning ceremony. And honestly, with all this energy that's been going on, I'm like planning on doing a couple more burn ceremonies just for myself, because I feel like there's a lot that I want to journal and then burn, and use lots of bad words. So feel free with all this stuff going on, with all this energy that we've been having. So again, the materials that you need really for you are just a paper and pen. I do have a candle and lighter. I have a bowl of water. I'm going to be drinking a little bit of water here too. The reason I have a bowl of water and I'm careful about what I wear is because I'm afraid I'm going to start something on fire, which would not be good. So I do have a bowl of water here for that. And I really want to thank everyone for coming here. And thank you for everyone that has joined us here. I know that we do have some Pathfinders here that from Mary Jo's channel, who taught us tarot, Wendy and I. And so we really appreciate, huh?
Said certified us. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we certified.
Since I was 16.
So we're very happy that we love being able to connect with everyone here. So that is great. So what we'll do is we'll get started. I want to kind of give you what the game plan is for us. So we're going to start with the astrology, and feel free to throw some questions in. Oh, look at everyone from all over the place. So we'll start with the astrology, and then we'll move on to Nat has a meditation that she's going to be taking us through, and then we will do our burning ritual. And if you don't have everything with you, I even recommend that you might want to watch the replay of this and do it for yourself very thoroughly. I've actually written down my stuff ahead of time, so I'm going to share. I'm going to open that box up. I'm going to open that can of worms of the things that I'm trying to release. So, and then we will have Wendy at the very end. She's going to be drawing some cards for us. So she has some oracle cards that she will be looking at. So we'll have, we want to make sure that we walk all this through so you kind of know what's going on. So what we're going to do is start with the astrology, and let me pull up what today looks like. So this is the astrology chart for today. This is the Libra full moon. And I want to concentrate on basically 3 areas to start, just basically to really look at and focus on. So I'm actually going to go in so I can use my pointer. Do you guys see my pointer moving around? Nat and
yeah,
okay,
I see
good.
it.
Okay, because I can't see you guys when I'm doing this because I'm on a different
Okay.
page. So I will need voices. So
Yeah, I was muted.
you were muted. Okay. So what we're starting with is we do have this 2320 and 2320. This is the full moon in Libra with the sun being in Aries. So what is this moon illuminating for you? What intuition is it showing up for you? Um, I think a lot of this is going to be about relationships because we've had so much of that energy coming through with all of the retrogrades. So you have this moon that's illuminating things, and then you have Chiron conjunct the sun at 23 degrees. They're both at 23 degrees. Now, this can be very much, it is an opportunity for healing. But also, you might have to be careful that you don't basically self-sabotage yourself. And Chiron is, I think, what you may really be seeing are things that really show you where your wounds are. And I think that is because we've had all of this energy of the retrogrades. Mars has been in retrograde and is going forward now, but it was in the area, still not out of its shadow, in the area of Cancer, which is a sign that is very much about family and ancestry. And it is in a square to this full moon. So, what action are we thinking about taking? And that can also be related to the home. A lot of people I know with this Mars retrograde have been doing home projects, remodeling, throwing stuff out, all of those things. The other big energy besides this full moon energy with the conjunction to Chiron and the square is all of this energy here in Pisces. Venus at 24, Saturn at 25, the North Node still at 27. It will leave there on the 17th. So 8 weeks of squaring the galactic center at 27 degrees. Mercury at 28 degrees, now moving forward. So for me, a lot of this energy in Pisces is about um, kind of seeing the way forward more now, where before everything was like you didn't know what direction to take. Everything was pretty confused. Now with Neptune moving into Aries, things have started to clear up and get clearer. Tonight, within 40, it's like 40 minutes of the perfection of the full moon, Venus stations direct. So right now she is at a standstill. But all of this is actually considered a conjunction. All of there's only 4 degrees, and really 6 degrees if you throw in Neptune in a different sign. So, but this is very strong, and Venus is the ruler of Libra, so she rules the moon in this full moon. So it's very much about what Venus is doing here in Pisces, where she's exalted. We are finishing up the retrograde. I will pop back over so I can see you guys' faces. So what this is very much is a dark night of the soul moment that we've been going through all of March, right? March 1st is when Venus went retrograde. Mercury then joined that party. So then there was nothing but confusion, I feel like. We didn't know, things weren't going our way. Nothing made sense. Communication was horrible. And Venus is also about money, finances, and also, it can be about love relationships, but it's also very strongly about our relationships with women, other women. And when we're talking about the collective, Venus often represents women in the collective. So I think that's very, very important for all of us looking at what we want to maybe release and let go. A lot of the things we've learned about since the new moon in Libra that was an eclipse 6 months ago, because it's always 6 months in between the new moon in Libra to the full moon in Libra. So when that happens, it's like, okay, that was what have I learned about my relationships since that new moon? And then we had Mars go retrograde. So Christmas was interesting because Mars was going retrograde, and we were around family. And
Mhm.
then when Venus went retrograde, people tend to come back into your lives during these, especially Mercury and Venus retrogrades. Old romances, show up. People that we used to date maybe contact us on Facebook or something like that. So all of that energy has been in play, and we kind of didn't know what to do with it. So I think that is one of the things that we need to try and release some of that, where we've seen where our relationships haven't worked and how we're going to change that and that process going forward. So do you have any questions, Wendy or Nat, about that at all, or any comments?
I don't really have questions, but I definitely can comment on the energy and having that feeling of being almost like where before it felt kind of like you were just getting hit by all sides and there were just things kind of surrounding you and it felt really stagnant, like you didn't know which way to turn. You didn't have a way to step forward or, it's like you would try to take a step forward and you had to take two steps back because there was something that was getting in the way. There's just been so many things that are been in kind of an upheaval, like really in like almost every area of my life, I know for sure. And I've heard that from others as well. But now it's like you can really feel that energy shift and change. And now it's like, okay, now I have all of these opportunities in front of me and I have all of these different paths I can take and I have all of these different choices to make. And I'm starting to take, steps in different directions with the different areas of my life. And it feels so much more positive. I've been feeling so much better and happier and more positive, even in just the last few days of just starting to feel that momentum. And even though it is kind of slow, and I compared it to a train, when a train starts to move, it's like super slow and it's almost like it's in slow motion. But once it starts to move, then it just gets faster and faster. And before you know it, it's going, super fast. So I feel like that's kind of where we're at. We're in that beginning of stages where like the engine's just starting to purr a little bit. And we're just, we're starting to just slowly turn those wheels and get that motion going for that forward momentum. So I'm super excited for what is coming and what this means. And having kind of some revelations and those aha moments, and seeing that more and more and starting to actually see like, oh, there's a light at the end of this tunnel. Okay, I'm going to go that way, so it's kind of a relief. I'm happy about it.
And I know a lot of people have had there's issues with relationships. There is with Saturn and Venus, that can be, it's such a strong energy. And they're basically, because Venus has been in this retrograde, they have been together.
Yeah.
And sometimes them together is not fun because it's like, okay, now it's time to work out with our relationships. I mean, sometimes it can be, you know, redefining our relationships with our family, my sisters included. It's like
Yeah.
you love each other, but it's Venus was retrograde, and Mercury. So it's like a lot of times when Mercury is retrograde, I basically take my mouth shut because I know I can't, anything that I would say that would be um, um, out of anger or whatever is something I'll have to take back. It's
Yeah.
something, so you have to really watch that, especially if it's in a house that it might be your 10th house of work or something like that. So you have to be
Yeah.
very careful during those times. But yeah, I think that
Yeah.
that's very important for people realizing that this has been huge. This
Yeah.
this is a huge ending because who gets the North Node and Venus during a retrograde together, plus Saturn,
Right.
Neptune? I mean, we had like what, 6 or 7 planets all stacked in that
Yeah.
area
Well,
of
and
the chart.
isn't everything going pretty much direct
Yes,
soon? And then it's like everything's going to stay direct for several weeks, right?
I
It's like, so
actually,
this is like an excellent time to be like setting boundaries and really, starting to make important choices, because these are things that are gonna stick, and then you're kind of laying the foundation for the future, right? Of what lays ahead of us. So, yeah.
And I made a note of that with Venus turning direct, all planets will be direct until May 4th, when
Wow.
Pluto stations retrograde on May 4th. And that's at 349
Oh,
degrees of Aquarius.
yeah,
So
that's awesome.
So that's our opportunity. And guess what? In between now and that May 4th date, we have a new moon in Taurus, which is great for manifesting abundance. So I know Nat and I will be doing that. I wrote it down here. April 27th at 3 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing a new moon intention setting. And oh, may the 4th be with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's my daughter-in-law's birthday. Thank God, because that's the only way my son would remember her birthday is a Star Wars fan. So, but I know Nat is going to be doing something on her Substack where she's going to be sending out emails and doing a manifesting with the 8 phases of the moon. So when you first manifest, it's the new moon, and then you wait until that first crescent phase of the waxing. Yes, is that
Yes,
waxing?
yes.
Okay. um, of the waxing moon. And that's when you start to take action. But she'll be sending out, we'll let you know ahead of time what that is and going on forward and moving forward with that. But that will start with that new moon in Taurus. And I made sure I looked this up because I wanted to make sure of this. Venus will still be in
But
Pisces, where she's exalted at 28 degrees
Mhm.
for that new moon manifestation. And she's the ruler of Taurus. So it's a really good time to set manifestation
Ooh,
and
goals.
so the
yeah.
moon is exalted in Taurus, so it's the mutual reception with exalted Venus and exalted moon. And I just cannot believe how beautiful it is. And I was going to tune in the goddess Aphrodite for the new moon. So she's a Greek version of Venus. She
Mhm.
is the asteroid Aphrodite. It's in the Taurus. I
Ah.
mean, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, they want us to manifest the biggest dream. you know, yeah, our
So,
highest
That's
so
so
good.
cool.
So let's go ahead. And what I'll do, Nat, is I will turn this over to you to start your
Okay.
meditation. So let me add this to the stage and and I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. So this full moon, the moon is in Libra, the sun is in Aries, conjunct Chiron. Chiron reminds us that our deepest wounds reveal a gift that only we can bring into the world and share with others. If you're still discovering what your Chiron gift is for you, this full moon may bring it into your conscious awareness, with the sun shining light on the unconscious wisdom of the moon. In this meditation, we are finding a gift all wrapped up with your name on it, ready to open. I had I had my Chiron return a few years ago, as we all do around age 50. It was a turning point that set me on a healing journey that's still unfolding, and I'm so grateful to be sharing that path with you. So let's begin. Shake your head gently, loosen your shoulders, and settle into a comfortable position. Inhale through your nose, fresh air filling your lungs. Exhale through your mouth, let it all melt away. Two more deep breaths. Two, inhale and exhale. 3, inhale. Exhale. Now finding a natural rhythm of your breath, we are returning to our familiar place, the rainbow waterfall. Let its light guide you back. Walking up to the rainbow waterfall, you step through and once again find yourself inside the Chiron's cave, a sanctuary with a domed ceiling above and smooth, cool stone beneath you. You sit or lie down on the stone floor. Now let's move through a gentle body scan. Bring your awareness to the top of your head. Feel the energy, soft, spacious. Now your face. Let your eyes soften. Release your jaw. Bring attention to your neck and throat. Feel the breath moving through. Drop your shoulders. Let them relax, melt downward. Feel your arms all the way to your fingertips, heavy and resting. Now your chest. Feel your heartbeat. Let it slow. Drop into your belly. Soften here. No holding, no effort. Bring awareness to your hips and pelvis. Feel the release. Now your legs, thighs, knees, calves, down to your feet and toes. Feel the full weight of your body supported by the earth. You are here. You are whole. You are safe in this sanctuary. Let the healing presence of Chiron begin to settle into your every body cells. And just breathe. Now let your physical body rest here. And with just your awareness, rise up. Get up on your feet and walk to the door. Step outside the cave. The full moon goddess Selene is waiting, her silver chariot aglow in the moonlight. She smiles at you. The chariot is here for you. Go ahead, step in, sit beside her. As soon as you're settled, the chariot lifts, rising up past the rainbow waterfall, gliding through the ancient woods, higher and higher into the night sky filled with shimmering stars. The moon is so close, so luminous. The cool air brushes your face. It feels like pure magic. Take a few breaths here. Feel the wonder. Enjoy the ride. Now, just like in a dream, you find yourself back inside the Chiron's cave. On the stone floor, under the domed ceiling, there's a gift packaged with your name on it. It's a gift from Chiron, from Selene, from the moon and the sun, from all the planetary gods and the asteroid goddesses. Go ahead and pick it up. You may wonder what's inside. Maybe it's the answer to a question you've been carrying, or a message of guidance you've been longing for. It could be a spiritual gift you've been nurturing, a psychic ability, a talent, a healing light. The gift is different for each of us, but one thing is for sure, it's a gift of love. Now slowly begin to return to your body and bring in the gift with you. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, open your eyes. Don't mute it. Mute it. You're muted.
Like that never happens. Um, I'm notorious. I'm notorious for being technologically challenged. So, yes, what I do want to say now, we're going to be going into doing the burn ritual, and what we're going to start with is I want to make sure you have a paper and pen handy, and we're going to be calling in the angels, the guardian angels, and I do want to just say briefly about the angels that we're going to be calling in. We're calling in Michael for protection, Gabriel for messages and insights, Metatron for his knowledge of sacred geometry, which also would be astrology, and Sandalphon for joy, love, and musical communion. And we have been doing a series of videos on the angels, and we have two out already. We will have two more coming out. My favorite is Sandalphon. So, because I'm musically inclined, and and I bet all of you have had messages this way, where you hear a song on the radio, you get a message from lyrics that pop into your head. Um, and a lot of people have said that's kind of led them down this path of awakening. So I think always think about that when it comes to Sandalphon, because he was with Metatron one of the people that they were living on earth and then became angels. So they know what it's like to have emotion and live life here. So I also have seen that we have people that are from all over. So I thank you so much for putting that down, and please continue to do that to tell us where you're from, because it means a lot to us. I have family all over the. I actually have family all over the world, and so it means something when we get to see that we are reaching a lot of different people. I know that there's someone that watches from Australia, from Germany, a lot of Europe, England. Hi, Ed. Love to you. And so we really appreciate it, and of course everywhere here in the United States and Canada. So much appreciation. Oh, from Utah, yay! Oh, more than one Australian here we have. Yay! Okay, I'm from Minnesota, so yay Canada. Sisters, right here, sisters. So what I want you to do is we are going to start by lighting a candle. You don't have to have one, but if you have one handy, go ahead and light that now. Um, and I am going to not start a fire. I'm just going to get this lit here. Come on. I think I might be running out of, oh, there it is. I actually have two candles here. One is a selenite candle. And I wanted to have two because Venus is just finishing a retrograde, and Venus is very much symbolized by green. So we all have green on here.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very much part of Venus's energy. And the other thing I want to do is bring in all the elements. And one of the ways I want to do, we have fire for purification, and we have sound for air energy. I just like the number 3, so that's 3 times for that. And I do have water to put out the fire for later because, yes, I'm that kind of person that I have Mars in the first house, so I am constantly cutting myself in little burns. Mars first house, it's pretty typical. Um, and I do have water available because I want that feeling of nourishment and memory and emotion and intuition coming in with that. I also have a crystal that I've been using because this is jade. So I wanted to have that symbol again of Venus, but Venus also loves um, pink quartz, rose quartz, and I think any amethyst is just a good all around stone, and so is selenite, and so is um, white quartz. So those are very always useful. But today I decided to go with I've been using this. Oh, you have your selenite. Yeah. So I've been using this as a symbol of earth because of all the grounding that we have needed to do with all that Pisces energy. And I still think that's going to be needed for people moving forward. So, what I want to encourage you to do now is we are going to start writing regarding some of these um, things we want to release. A lot about, what do I want? What is blocking me? What is blocking me from abundance? Release some of those things. What are blocks in my relationships that's preventing me from having the relationships I want? So those are the things that we're going to write about because Libra is about relationships. The opposite sign where the sun and Chiron are about self. So maybe we have seen something in our relationships that, has been very painful for us to have to deal with. And so those are some of the things that we will be able to write down and release. And so I will, as you're writing things down, and please, feel free to start writing those down now. That'll be what we will be ripping up and burning. So one of the things that I wrote down was release reliving old arguments with my ex-husband and getting angry from a discussion in my head. I'm a Gemini rising. I have discussions in my head with people when I'm angry. Sometimes I say it out loud, and sometimes I keep my peace. When Mercury is retrograde, I tend to like keep it to myself. But that is one of those things that, it lowers my vibration. And I'm guilty of this. I swear I'm guilty of this. So, and I should know better, but it's something I do struggle with. So, that energy actually lowers your energy when you're in either anger or fear. Um, the other thing is, release the giving away my own power.
Mm.
A lot of times I
Good one.
will give my power over to other people. And now is the time to end some of those soul contracts. That's Venus and Saturn together. A lot of those soul contracts are ending now. We, since this new moon that we had in Libra, and you've had an ongoing difficult relationship going on, I will tell you that if it hasn't changed since the new moon, it ain't going to change. So you have to decide what you want to do from this point on. So if you've worked through that energy, that would be Mars and Venus. But this is a time, there is a lot of relationships that are being released now because people have worked through that karma. And that's very important to realize that you've done the work and now you can let that go. And one of the things that I came across this quote, and I was like, oh, this is so me. Um, when we don't feel wanted, we make ourselves feel needed. So that is what I feel that a lot of us have been doing in our relationships because Libra and Virgo's where the South Node is, and Cancer, where Mars is, those are all signs that overgive, that we are, that's exactly it. Um, if we don't feel wanted, then we go into, okay, then I'm going to take care of everything for this person. They need me. They
Mm.
need me. And that is one of those things that I had to learn to release. And I'm a Cancer mom, right? Um, Cancer's, my second house. It matters to me. So Libra, this full moon in Libra should be showing you that in your relationships. So write some of those things down for yourself. Um, don't dwell on other people's quote unquote disgusting behaviors, because that will lower your vibration. And I could give you a whole list and who they were, right? People that make me angry and why. So write those down, and you can use bad words because we're going to burn this and no one's going to see it, right? So really do that because it's so freeing. And I actually am planning on doing this a couple times this week where I'm going to do this journal and burn, because I think there's a lot that I need to get out. And we have all of this energy in Pisces to really finish up these karmic relationships that no longer serve us. And we need to just release that energy. Libra is very much about relationships. So does anybody else have anything that those are mine. I was like, okay, I'm gonna admit it.
Yeah. No, clean house, that includes emotionally, not just in your physical space, but up in your head too, Yeah, it's
I just
important.
I think that we're going through the collective is going to be going through so many things and so many changes that I just don't have room for that junk anymore.
Right?
So
Well, it doesn't serve us anymore. And especially when we become aware, one, of becoming aware that we're even doing it, because sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it, right? And then that lowering our vibration and like going like, God, why do I feel off? Why do I feel so, ugh, And then it's like, so having that where you become aware of it and you realize it's like, okay, so now what am I going to do about it? So now you have something to do. And yeah, no, I think these rituals are super for that, because I know we talk about intention a lot and how important intention is and setting intention, but intention alone is not enough. You also you have your will, right? So you have to decide to take action and move with that. And then you have the energy. So then so you have to work not only with your own energy, right, but also the energies that surround you and the energies that you are asking for help from. So when we have all of those things combined, that's when we really see change, and when we really see and can feel our vibration really elevating, and rising. And the things you're saying that you're guilty of, it, we're all guilty of those things, Dawn. Everybody here is guilty of those things, and a lot of times, yeah, we do it without even realizing it. So I think we need constant reminders, daily reminders. I know, heck, I go to therapy once a week. I don't know if anybody else that sees a therapist, but those conversations you were saying, you like tighten your lips on. Yeah, I just have those conversations in therapy. So, uh, it's like just, oh gosh, I totally lost my train of thought there. But, you just gotta kind of work through these things and clear it out. And oh, I was gonna say, with the therapy, is like, even things that we tell each other all the time, when we talk to people in the audience, hell, even talking to each other, right? And we remind each other, it's like, you need to be grounded, you need to think about, own your space, and do your manifestations, and take the constantly need reminders. Even if we do practice it and we know to practice it, we still have to remind each other all the time, and remind ourselves, to take the time to do self-care, to, all of these things that are just kind of constants, that it's constant work, right? But it's all for our greatest and highest good. It's all for us to better ourselves and our relationships and our lives and our energy, and to help others and create community. They're all good things. It's all necessary things, So I'm, like I said before, it's like I can feel this shift. I can feel the shift in the energy. I'm really excited. I feel like we're all, we're taking these little steps. Now is an excellent time. It's funny because I was talking about this just with my daughter the other day. It's like, it's frustrating in some respects because it feels like it's going so slow, and you've been doing all this work for so long, and you have your intent, you have your manifestations, you have your goals that you're looking at, you want it, and you want it right now, because you're like, all right, I'm ready, let's get it going. I've been waiting, I want it, where is it? But if you really pay attention and you look around, you'll see you are on that path. And I've been getting that message, being on the right path, for the last 2 weeks. You're on the right path. You're doing the steps. You've done the work. Now, again, it's just that really slow movement, and to build up to that momentum. And, so it's feeling really positive. And this, doing these rituals and, releasing and letting go, those are more steps on our right path and getting and moving forward. And I love that you're going to do it more than once. And especially in this time where it's like, we have the support of the energy. Now is the time to do it. So now is a great time to take action, because we've been setting intentions for so long. Now is the time for action, and to be working with these energies, because the energies are finally, they're falling into this kind of an alignment for us, saying like, okay, here's your chance, and we're giving you a good chunk of time here, so take advantage of it and really use it to your advantage. Work with the energies. So yeah, I'm feeling it. I got goosebumps all over, and I'm just, yeah, my energy's like way better than it has been.
Well, and I know with the moon being the intuition and everything, and with the sun and Chiron, there have been people that have had to work through some really rough things. And I want to acknowledge that, because it has been really, really hard for some people that are having these things come up in relationships that relate. There's a lot of people that relationships are ending, through no fault of their own, or because they made a decision that they need to do this for their own self. And honestly, take heart in the fact that the North Node is there in that area of the chart that says what's happening is for your greatest and highest good.
Yeah.
So even though it may feel painful right now, allow yourself to step back and realize, there's nothing wrong with feeling sadness. You're learning to work through those energies, and I know that it's been tough. I know that people have had really tough, like very tough situations with regarding to family and to partners and to, just everything that's been going on in general, because it hasn't been very clear even for the collective, that it's
Right.
been very kind of no one knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that that energy of not knowing what's going on, we know that there's going to be chaotic stuff going on in the future, but staying grounded and knowing that, in my own personal space, that I've got this. Your home is, I think part of that's why Mars is in that home area of protection.
Mm.
Mars is so protective. I know Mars has a difficult time in Cancer, but it is a mama bear when it comes to its home energy. Home energy. So, what we'll do now is I want you to take this. We're going to fold this up first because I want to take just a really brief little time for a journey to appreciate the full moon. So I want you to fold it up for right now, and I want you to hold it against your chest, because part of this is I want to um, have us send the energy into the paper before we burn it.
Mm.
So I want you to close your eyes and picture one of my favorite places to be, which is in a cabin, on a swing, on a wraparound porch, with a night sky with the full moon, this full pink moon shining brightly. And we see it in the distance as we look over a lake. And we're going to go and leave this beautiful cabin and head down to the beach on the lake. And we're walking through some woods, smelling all the beautiful pine trees, hearing the crunch of leaves. The light is so bright on the path. The moon is so bright in the sky. It is amazing. And as we approach the beach, we see that there's a large fire with people gathered around. And what we notice are there's old friends that we see there, and we greet them. And there are many new people that we welcome in. We're all part of this energy. We're all here to join together to share our gifts. And Selene is present. She is the goddess of the full moon. She was also there that gave us a gift that we will be able to open as things progress forward in our life this year. So we're standing gathered around this huge fire, and Selene walks among us. She's asking, take all of the pain that you've been feeling, all of the uncertainty that you've been feeling, all of the emotional drama that has gone on in the past 6 months, especially the problems with family or friends or work, the things that we want to release so that we can attain room for better things to come in. We want to release this energy. So into your paper where you have written what you want to release, I want you to send your emotions. I want you to send sadness. I want you to send fear, even hatred of people who might have treated you badly. I want you to release that. It only hurts you. Release that energy. And as you release that energy, you are taking back your own power by saying, I am going to control my emotions. I will not fear because I know that what is going to be happening for me is for my greatest and highest good. You may be leaving a job. You may be moving to a new place. The North Node is where we're supposed to be going, and that is surrounded by Saturn, long-term changes, Venus, the support of other women, Mercury, planning, our thought process, our new belief systems, all in that area of Pisces. Everyone stands and sends energetically their paper into the fire and watch it rise and burn. The fire leaps up, purifying that energy. And we see that full moon as the smoke rises and draws it in, releasing all of that emotional trauma that we've had from even a long time ago. A lot of people are releasing ancestral trauma with what we've been going through. All timelines are converging. So as we release, then we can come back into ourselves and take nice, calming breaths, knowing that we can repeat this whenever we feel the need to release something that is not for our greatest and highest good. Now is the time to say goodbye to our friends as we slowly leave the area of the beach and the fire, which is still burning brightly. We can see it from a distance as we are returning home, back through the woods, climbing our way up, where we walk back onto the porch where our cabin is, and we sit back down on the swing to watch the moon shining still so brightly. And now I want you to slowly open your eyes, and we will do the burn ceremony now. So I am going to place a bowl of water immediately in front of myself so I don't do any damage to anything around me. I was so excited, I almost knocked this bowl of water over when Nat was talking about, she mentioned Venus being in her exaltation at the next new moon. And then she mentioned the moon being in its exaltation. I'm like, oh yes, of course, I completely forgot. So again, release this energy of things that are no longer serving us, because you have a great new moon coming up. So I'm like, journal and burn. And because that will allow us to be prepared and have space for the things that want to come in that are for our greatest and highest good. So I am going to I should actually make this higher. Dun, 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 because my candle is starting to burn my metal here. So I'm going to actually rip this up a little bit because just I enjoy it. I really enjoy it when I rip this up. So rip your pieces of paper. Last time I actually ripped them so small I had to watch my fingers when I was trying to burn. So I'm like being much more careful this time. I will do it this way. One last time. Okay. And now we are ready to burn. If you don't have a way that you can burn this, do not worry. You can always place it in the water. You can always I have my daughter-in-law, she flushes it away when she's ready. And that looks like she's dropping it into her water. Yeah, she did, dropped it into her water. So I'm gonna go ahead and light this. And trust me, I'm gonna have a few more that I'm gonna be burning about my ex-husband stuff. So I have stories. Someday I will have stories about everything. We'll all have some wine. It'll be Dawn tells some really good. Dawn tells really good stories. So, so that is what I want you to release. And we still have our candle burning at this point. What I always do is I like to have the candle as a symbol of the beginning of a ceremony and the ending of a ceremony. So I want to thank our archangels, first of all. And before we actually, I think I may blow out the candle and then we'll end with Wendy is going to be doing some cards for us. But I've had this candle burning for a bit here, so I don't want to let it go too long. I had both candles burning. So I'm going to go ahead and, as a symbol of us closing this ceremony, I'm going to be blowing out both of my candles. I've already touched, I touched this earlier. So I have the memory of earth and water and air. And I am going to use the sound one last time as an ending because I want that air vibration in. And since we use the water to put that out, that is good. So the first candle and my Venus candle. And with that, I will turn it over to Wendy for our cards.
Okay. Well, for today, I just asked what any messages that wanted to come through from Spirit for Venus going direct and with this full moon. And I felt compelled to use 3 decks. So I pulled 1 card from each deck. And I will go over what each one means. So the first one I pulled from the Mystic Sisters Oracle deck, and I got Urania. And Urania is about philosophy, knowledge, and intelligence. It says, Urania is the ancient Greek muse of astronomy. Her energy is directed towards endless expansion of the mind. She represents the enthusiastic and dedicated student with an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. When we take the opportunity to expand our knowledge of any particular subject, an interconnectedness of all truths can be recognized. When drawn, Urania encourages you to travel in your mind, imagine other possibilities, and playfully philosophize about alternative reality maps. She encourages further education or using the knowledge you've already obtained to its fullest potential. And this immediately made me think of you, Dawn. And with the astrology. Okay, and then the next piece of advice I got from Spirit was shine bright like a candle. You will make it through this. This is from the Alice the Wonderland Oracle. Your divine light is strong. You are radiant, endurance, resilience, making it through a trying time. Hopeful future. Love that. Wondering about life and death, contemplating the purpose of your existence, connections with the afterlife. That one speaks to me a lot because I'm going through doing my practice of mediumship right now. So I think that's a beautiful, beautiful message, that we all need to be shining our light and helping others and really thinking about how we want to move forward. I think that totally fits. And then the last one, and I love this, enlightenment from the Sacred Destiny Oracle. And I need glasses again. Okay. So enlightenment occurs when one steps out of the confines of an ordinary definition of self and expands into a greater awareness of the self within the universe. You are now reaching into the invisible realm of spirit and connecting with what you cannot see. Forces beneath the surface are supporting you on your journey. Have faith in yourself. You are so much more than you believe yourself to be. Have patience that there is a plan unfolding. The sky's the limit. This card represents enlightenment and signals that you are entering into a time of expansive transformation in a luminous and remarkable way. Trust that the changes ahead are for the greater good, for most certainly they are. And I just thought, my God, all 3 of these just completely fit with everything that we've just been talking about and the energies that we've been talking about. And it just kind of encompasses the entire message of what came through. So I really love that that was the message that came through for us. And it's just, giving us that kind of oomph, that boost of like, yes, that's what we've been saying. Pay attention, get the
That's
message.
beautiful.
So,
Well, and you didn't see Nat and I when you pulled the Urania card. We
Like,
we were like this. We literally were going like this because Urania for us astrologers is like, ta-da!
and get
And
this, Urania is on my ascendant with Mercury.
oh wow. So
So
and
like
so
she
cool.
is like she's my goddess to like guiding me all through this with like goddess Hecate too. But like once we was like
well, and for me, Urania is in a grand air trine with my 6-degree Mars and my 6-degree Moon, and she's at 7 degrees in Libra. So all this energy going through.
Oh
And when
man.
I was over in Budapest and I came across this theater that was the Urania Theater, and all of my I went in and had my picture taken next to the name Urania because I was like sent it to all my friends who actually knew what exact people were like, why are you having what is that? And I'm like, you have to be an astrologer to know what this is. Everybody I know that's an astrologer will know what
That's
this is.
so cool. I'm really glad she showed up. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
wow.
So
So,
fits.
well, thank you everyone for joining us. I highly recommend going over and repeating this ceremony several times, more than several times. I know I'm going to be doing it because there's so much I feel to cleanse before we get to this manifestation time of the new moon in Taurus. So we will be putting that out there when we'll give you more information when we're getting ready to do that. But please join us otherwise on Thursdays for our lives at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we also have daily readers from Monday through Friday. My day is Friday and your day is Thursday,
Thursday.
Wendy? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Thursday.
I know on Mondays, Marcia has also been giving some astrology information for the week. So if you want to get a little bit, if you're interested in some of the astrology piece, I would say listen, make sure you catch that for the astrology information. And if you are into astrology, then you can compare it to your own chart, which I always recommend people do anyway. So thank you again so much, everyone, for joining us. And I hope that you have an amazing time this weekend, and we will see everyone really soon. Good night, everybody. Bye.